This past November marked the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. It also marked the 30th anniversary of Pope John Paul II's historic 9-day visit to Poland in June of 1979.
Former Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives Newt Gingrich and his wife have produced a video dramatizing that extraordinary moment in history.
Teri Breguet caught up with the former speaker when he was in Boston and brings us this report.
He went from minority whip to the 58th Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, serving from 1995 until 1999. Conservative icon Newt Gingrich is an author, historian, filmmaker, and now a Catholic. After several decades as a Southern Baptist, the 65-year-old Republican converted in 2009, following in his wife's footsteps and turning his attention to the legacy of Pope John Paul II. The former Speaker of the House came here to Boston to discuss his latest project, a film he hopes will open people's eyes to the real power of faith and will serve as an educative tool for generations to come. In October, Gingrich attended a fundraising event for Catholic citizenship, the Massachusetts-based nonpartisan Catholic grassroots advocacy group, at the Union Club in the state capitol. It was here he introduced his latest documentary, 9 Days That Changed the World, a film about Pope John Paul II's historic visit to Poland in 1979, an event many cite as a pivotal point in the downfall of communism.
The decisive moment was the 9 days in 1979 when the Pope came to Poland. That the transfer of moral authority from the Soviet system to the people of Poland occurred when there were millions of people standing in the square in Warsaw on the first day. And the Pope said, "Let the face of God touch this earth." And the crowd broke into 14 minutes of cheering and chanting and applause. And they kept chanting, "We want God."
Gingrich, who is a trained historian and an avid reader, co-hosts the film with his wife Callista. The film utilizes footage obtained by the bishops of Poland, who hired their own camera crews because they did not trust the government-run media to accurately capture the event. Gingrich told the crowd he made the film to teach future generations that a revolution in conscience and a resurgence of religious commitment was a principal force in toppling communism.
There's a challenge we all have because there has been in the modern West such a deep effort to secularize education and to secularize civic language that even something as profound as the 9-day visit of 1979 by the Pope doesn't get driven into the memory of people even a generation later.
Gingrich, who also produced a movie on Ronald Reagan, believes movies are a powerful and practical vehicle for educating people who may not read. He says charismatic leaders jump off the screen in a much more powerful way than they do off the pages of a book. He was fascinated with what he discovered about Pope John Paul II during his research in Poland.
First of all, he was an actor. During World War II, he risked being killed by joining the Rhapsodic Theater that met in secret and that was determined to sustain Polish culture, even at the risk of being killed. Second, he's a very outdoor person. He's a very physical person, and he kayaked and he hiked and he was very engaged. I think the combination of his physical energy and his acting skills were part of what made him such an intensely charismatic leader. And in that sense, he's a remarkable person.
Gingrich called his recent conversion an extraordinarily meaningful part of his life, citing his wife's faith among other reasons for his decision.
I think there's a part of me, both as a historian and as somebody who spent part of his childhood in Europe, that I resonate with the sort of core community spiritual experience of collectively being part of the body of Christ and collectively participating in the Eucharist.
This is not Gingrich's first time mixing politics with religion. His 2006 book and DVD, Rediscovering God in America, was his reaction to the Ninth Circuit Court's decision that it was unconstitutional to say one nation under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. For years, he has encouraged Christians to know their history and to get involved in the political arena.
It is astonishing when you look at the polling data how small the number of secularists are in the United States. And yet their power in the news media, in the classroom, and in the courts is just overwhelming.
The growing encroachment of government over freedom of religious expression has Gingrich concerned. He challenged the crowd to encourage local school boards to teach history accurately, something he hopes 9 Days That Change the World will do.
I hope that 9 Days That Change the World will remind people that they are always capable of changing the world, and that if they will open their heart to Christ, and then if they will simply follow their heart, that as witnesses to the truth, they will in fact change the world.
Reporting in Boston, I'm Teri Breguet for Real to Real.
Newt Gingrich, who's 66, was raised a Southern Baptist but converted to Catholicism, his wife's faith, last year.
And Sharon, some political commentators already have identified Gingrich as a top contender in the 2012 presidential election.